Okay, so first of all, there's that superdelegate thing with the DNC. So they're trying to appease the left of the Democratic Party. So in response to this change of the superdelegates, Donna Brazil, who's the former head of the DNC, put out a tweet, okay, right after the vote. And it said, Democrats voted to remove automatic delegates. Look how she uses the term automatic delegates instead of superdelegates. Again, just some bullshit language. Automatic delegates. As in, they get to vote even though they're not tied to what the people voted for. Democrats voted to remove automatic delegates from the first round of voting. But we still have seats at the table. We are still in the room and very much capable of setting the menu. Hashtag power rising.
What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
That's terrifying.
Exactly. And she just puts that on Twitter. Like, what the fuck?
Power rising.
Power rising.
Woo!
Yeah!
I'm gonna go retweet
Authoritarian elitism!
Yeah.
Woo! So that's nice.
That was crazy. That's legitimate. Yeah.
That you can. It's still up. You can go look at it.
It's
Donna
just
Brazil.
like the fact that like someone who is in that much power is legitimately being like, we don't give a fuck what the people say.
Yeah,
We're not
it's
going
barely-
to listen to it, and we
They're
will
pulling
do our
back
best.
the veil.
to
Yeah.
More and more, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, you just push through the rhetoric a little bit, and it's just a fucking. All of it's a fucking lie. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they're not even ashamed. Like they just believe in it. They believe in that shit. But anyway. So another thing is activists convinced the Democratic Party to stop taking donations from fossil fuel companies.
Oh, nice.
Except then, less than a week later, they reversed it.
Okay.
And their explanation was that it disenfranchised labor within fossil fuel companies because they want their companies to look out for their interests. So really, this was a pro-labor move, according to the Democratic Party, to take money from big oil.
The fuck, dude.
Yeah. So that's good.
I mean, I guess they're not technically wrong.
Why don't they just get labor from literally?
Yeah, and I take money
anywhere
from
else?
big banks because you know, looking out for bank workers.
Yeah.
Really, that's what I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Same
Not
with
for the little
Russia.
guy.
I don't want anyone in Russia to lose their jobs.
Yeah, right?
Better take their money
Yeah.
too.
I'm pro-labor.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Such
anywhere else.
bullshit. Such
Anywhere
bullshit.
else.
Wow.
Because
Alright.
big oil is really looking out for their employees
I know,
too,
right?
Yeah.
They're good representations of what we think.
So the biggest news in the cycle right now has to do with Trump because an anonymous op-ed was posted in the New York Times. How many of you guys know about this?
I don't know.
Nope.
Oh, this is big shit.
I just read about
So the New York Times posted an anonymous op-ed, and they confirmed that they know the identity of the person. That is a senior White House official within the administration.
it. Yeah.
This op-ed,
What's
I've
an
got
op-ed?
it's an opinion piece.
Oh, okay.
So here's a few quotes from this op-ed, and it's essentially a senior White House official, saying that there are people in his administration working to stop him because he's crazy, and here's why.
Okay.
And this is clearly a conservative person because they said we're in favor of many of the policies he's passed, things like tax cuts, things like bolstering the military. So this is a conservative person within a conservative administration, but they're worried about the president.
Okay.
The dilemma, which he does not fully grasp, is that many of the senior officials in his own administration are working diligently from within to frustrate parts of his agenda and his worst inclinations. The root of the problem is the president's amorality. Anyone who works with him knows he is not moored to any discernible first principles that guide his decision-making. Meetings with him veer off topic and off the rails. He engages in repetitive rants, and his impulsiveness results in half-baked, ill-informed, and occasionally reckless decisions that have to be walked back. And he has a preference for autocrats and dictators. A couple examples paired with this was in the wake of a chemical attack in Syria, he asked the Secretary of Defense, Jim Mattis, to assassinate Assad unilaterally, just straight up. And Mattis told the president, yes, sir, we'll do that right away, sir. And then as soon as he left the room, said, no, we're not doing that. We're going to do something more measured. Another example was Trump demanded that we end our trade deal with South Korea just on a whim. And so they had to bring him papers for it and all that. And the Secretary of the Treasury, I believe, took the paper off his desk when he wasn't looking. And then Trump forgot. So that's the kind of shit going on in the White House.
That's crazy.
So that's going through the news cycles right now because that's a big thing.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is obviously we have the confirmation hearings for the new Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh. He's written things in the past explicitly opposed to Roe v. Wade.
Really? Wow.
And of course he's doing his little dance, I don't want to talk about specific things, I'm going to be an objective judge, all that jazz, so he's avoiding all their questions.
Right.
Another really disturbing thing is he's written things in the past saying essentially that the president can't be prosecuted. He doesn't think the president can be prosecuted. Here's a couple quotes from a position he had in a lower court. No single prosecutor, judge, or jury should be able to accomplish what the Constitution assigns to the Congress. So he's saying because Congress has impeachment power, that the president should be immune to judicial prosecution, which is really weird.
I thought that was the truth, though. Like, unless they were impeached, they couldn't be brought up on criminal charges.
Is that the case?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm unaware of that.
I don't know if that's
Well,
official, but I think
I don't
that's
know.
the precedent.
I don't know why he would say that if that was already
That's a
the
good
way
point.
it is. I really
See if
don't
I
know.
can
You
find
should look it
anything
up.
about that.
So let me follow with this next quote while you're looking that up.
Yeah.
The indictment and trial of a sitting president would cripple the federal government, rendering it unable to function with credibility in either the international or domestic arenas. Such an outcome would ill serve the public interest, especially in times of financial or national security crisis. I think that's a bullshit argument because if there's a legal matter making the president unable to perform his duties, he should temporarily have the vice president fill in for his role.
Totally.
That argument saying the president should be immune to legal, redress because of his position of power. I mean, you're essentially calling him a king in my mind, but
Totally. Well, there's also there's like the whole idea that if the president gets assassinated or is somehow gone, it's like we have the
you have a chain of command.
Chain
You
of
have,
command, exactly.
it's not just has to be the president.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's speculated that this is the reason why Trump picked him is because he wants a judge on the court who will try to get rid of the Mueller probe into Trump's activities.
So this is from CBS. Apparently it's a tricky legal question with no easy answer. Scholars are divided on the issue, and it's never been definitively settled. Rudy
Giuliani, that's
Giuliani,
one of Trump's attack dogs.
President Trump's personal lawyer, says the president cannot be indicted. Ooh, who would have thought
Shocking.
that? And he says the special counselor Robert Mueller's office agrees with that assessment. However, Mueller's team has not confirmed what its opinion on the matter is. So basically, it's not
An unsettled
explicitly
legal
said
question
in the Constitution, and the Supreme Court has never ruled either way.
So we very really could be having an imminent constitutional crisis, and Trump's stacking the court with a judge that will rule in his favor.
It looks that way.
Fun.
Isn't that great?
So that's where we're at.
Yeah. What do you think the odds of him being impeached are?
I don't know. I think this op-ed makes it more likely because now you're having administration officials come out. Well, there's a couple interesting things with this. So first of all, it's been stated that this could also be people within the administration trying to shield themselves from what's going to happen to the president. So if the president gets kicked out, they'll be like, no, we've been trying to stop him. We're the good guys.
Sure, yeah.
We're not complicit in his
Covering their
administration. They're covering their ass.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
But that's also... I mean, it sucks that they're doing that if they are just as liable for all these things, but it's also good that he's sort of losing his support base. That it's getting to the point where people are like, I might need to jump ship.
So that makes me think impeachment could be possible if they're trying to cover their ass like that.
Right.
Because, I mean, those people trying to cover their ass are probably the most tuned into the shift in the political winds.
You'd think.
Yeah. I'm also worried about like the impeachment just leading to.
Oh, Pence might be worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd certainly be more effective, but I mean, there is. I don't know. That's a whole nother question.
Yeah.
What's worse,
I
the
feel like-
actual Republican agenda enacted with methodical success, or kind of just this freewheeling crazy person? Like,
It's a good question. I feel like for the integrity of the nation,
the
whatever's
stability would
whatever's
be better
left.
served by.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in terms of our
Right.
public image and the view that the average person has of the government.
Yeah.
I feel like that has been just destroyed by the Trump administration.
See, but
whatever
now
was left. And
there's
so whether or not that's a good thing, I'm not sure.
exactly.
But the impeachment, I think, would if he actually got
Return
impeached,
stability.
I think it would return some of that.
See, I actually think that might be a bad thing because, again, I'm of the persuasion that we need people to get out and radically change the system. So, to me, having someone kind of pull the curtain back and show that the emperor wears no clothes is a boon to, public consciousness and
Right. And to have that happen and see like all the shit that he's done and then have him get away with it all.
Yeah.
That might be what
Yeah.
pushes people
exactly.
over the edge.
So that's a debate. There's a real debate there.
For sure.
Pence scares me because he is a evangelical Christian, and that's some hardcore shit, which we can get into another time as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some scary shit there.
For sure.
Oh.
All right. Well, I think we should go ahead and end it there.
All right. Well, Drew's not here to push the plug.
Just
so.
since Sean has to get going.
Well, next time.
We'll just edit.
Good
that.
shit. Good shit.
Yeah. When we should set a date for the next one.
Yes, we should.
My friend is going to be in town, Chris, and he would probably be a lot of fun to have one of these conversations with.
That'd be awesome.